I still don't understand social media. It means nothing to me, somebody who has 5 million followers or 50,000 followers. I still don't appreciate.
Hi, Grandma! Finally, we get to do this interview. Is it a long time coming? How are you, Grandma? I'm so excited about this conversation. So I'll take it back to the first time we met. If you remember at the Ikoyi Club, the first time we met, and I remember how emotional you were about the entire journey. At that time, you had just gone viral via the BBC News, and at some point, you shed a tear, and I became very emotional. And your words, you were like, I'm just an old woman. I never knew this was going to happen. I wasn't expecting this. I feel so overwhelmed. I'm just, remembering that time when all of this happened. And now, have there been other moments like that where you get emotional just seeing your journey? You being Rosalie Uma that nobody knew, just your family members only and your close circle of friends and network, and then seeing that you have over 100,000 people following you, and if I dare to say millions of people in Nigeria who know that there's a particular grandma in Nigeria who is doing really, really cool stuff. So do you still have those moments where you feel very emotional about your journey?
No, I don't. I'm not emotional about it anymore because, as you know, that first time I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed more with my husband and I. We didn't have any peace in this house. Our telephone was ringing non-stop, and so we switched it off, and each time we put it back on, ringing again, text messages, WhatsApp, and that was overwhelming. But after I got used to it, my growth and to handle it all, for me to get some privacy, immediately you took that off me. Then I relaxed and I just reverted to what I was before, an ordinary, basic grandma going about her normal, basic, ordinary lifestyle. My growth to over 100 followers or more really didn't get me emotional or impacted on me because I still don't understand social media. I don't appreciate it. It means nothing to me, somebody who has 5 million followers or 50,000 followers. And as you know, many times when I have so many views or I have so many followers and you tell me it's good, and I turn to you and I said, oh, is that a good number? I'd rather say I still don't appreciate that anything big is happening to me.
Interesting. But let's talk about the intangibles, because the numbers could be the tangibles. But when we're talking about the intangibles, in the sense that you have over a period of time influenced a lot of young people into telling their parents to go back into fitness. Has that, had any impact on you whatsoever?
My fitness journey has impacted more on young people than seniors. Seniors are not interested. A number of the young ladies come up to me and they record videos together and ask for my permission. So I'll show it to my mom. Not one mom came to the gym. Not one dad came either. And when people say, oh, I'll dust my gym outfit, oh, I've paid and I'm not going, I always go to look at the profile of all those people who pass such comments. They are young women in their 30s.
Grandma, you're a very well-rounded person. And I know that sometimes, I've heard in our conversations how you mentioned that you've always been a very smart person. Seeing how versatile that you are, there's virtually nothing that you don't know something about. You know something about everything. Can you take us through what growing up was like for you and certain values that have shaped you into becoming a well-rounded individual that you are today?
At the age of 2 or 3, I was left with my grandmother because my parents were abroad studying, and my mother was away for almost 10 years. And I grew up in Warri. My grandmother was a very well-educated woman because she was mixed race, and her father put her to grow up as a child with Irish nuns in the Catholic. What my mother always sent to me, if I look back now, she always sent me books, more books than dolls to play with. And as an only child growing with my grandmother, I was almost old in thinking. Today I do a lot of things And the rest of the family say, you look so much like you behave so much like your grandmother. And I got into the habit of reading to beat my loneliness. My grandmother didn't allow me play with the children in the compound downstairs. We lived upstairs. So I was always reading and reading and reading. And by the time I got into secondary school, my only love affair, the only thing I liked in this world was to read. And I keep telling people that laid the foundation for me being a near recluse today now. I grew up as an only child and learned to play with myself. So I wasn't lonely. I can be alone in this house for 3 months and I'm not lonely. I'm like two sides of a coin. Oh, I'll enjoy myself, it's all fun. But when the crowd disappears, I'm normal. We come from a family where everyone went to school. Except you choose to want to do a professional course. Everyone also went to college. So then my mother came back and I moved to Lagos to live with her. Then after my A-levels at Queen's College, I went to University of Ife and I studied law, came out, got thrown into the world. That's basically how I grew up.
I asked that question because I was trying to get into your foundation. What has shaped you into the woman that you've become today? Because speaking about personal branding, what makes people grow as fast as you did is because they are usually like something distinctive about them. And in your own case, it's because at over 70, never been done before. We've never seen it, especially within the African context, where you see a 70-year-old going to the gym and carrying and lifting weights. Also seeing that at 51, you started swimming. I just feel like there's something at your core that has shaped you into this individual that you've become today. And I also recall that at 51, you started swimming. And I know at a point you said your grandchildren were feeling embarrassed about it. Not everybody has this distinctive feature. Not everybody has this distinctive mindset and discipline. Again, maybe you want to still circle back as to why you think that, you have lived a very, very distinct life.
Maybe it's in my DNA to be a maverick, and it has also helped me. Like I said, I grew up with my grandmother, and my grandmother was somebody with a very, very strong personality. Very strong personality. She was the ultimate warrior, and I mimic her in life. And my mother too was tall. So my grandmother married a Sierra Leonean. So my mother actually biologically is Sierra Leonean, but she was born in Lagos, grew up here. And so I grew up in an environment, and I in particular, because my cousins too grew up in that same environment, but they are not like me. But my personality is one of, I am unapologetically me. I don't give two hoots about public opinion. If I want to marry and my father, mother, grandmother says, no, don't marry him. Fine, thank you very much for your advice. I will marry him. And if it's a bed of roses, marriage is a bed of roses, I'll enjoy it. If it's a bed of thorns, which means I made an error, I will suffer I'll suffer the repercussion on my own. I don't seek people's opinion. I listen to what you say. It doesn't necessarily mean that I will do what you advise me to do. I believe in learning from my own experience. And to some extent, that was how I brought up my children too. Before these days of affluence where you have generators, and also go back to say 40 years or so ago, where most homes we did, and this NEPA thing, not having light, and we were using candles. And my little children, they are fascinated with light and they want to play with the candles. And the maid will be telling them, don't touch the candle, don't touch the candle. I said, leave them. If fire burn them, no one will tell them, so may they not touch candle. I never told them not to touch the fire. I'm sitting there, I'm watching them. So it isn't as if they are going to use that candle to burn down the house. But when you keep telling them, don't touch, they are fascinated as to this thing that you said they shouldn't touch. So I leave them, touch it. It burns, it scalds the finger. It doesn't give them third-degree burns all over their body. And then they snatch back the finger and cries. And I said, serves you right. That child will never touch that candle again. I was also hard on myself. I'm a go-getter and I have a lot of drive. When I want to do something, like when I did my surgery, 3 of us did our knee replacement surgeries together. And our pace of recovery was like day and night. Wow. The same doctors, but then they were lazy, doing compulsory 1-hour physiotherapy 3 times a week. My husband would stay with me and I said, take your phone, record all what that physiotherapist is doing because I can't afford to be paying for her every day. And then I ordered through Amazon all the home units of everything that was being used in the hospital. And the next 6 months, every day, 4 to 5 hours, every blessed day. What the physiotherapist was doing, if she says ride the stationary bicycle for 10 minutes, I have a stationary bicycle at home. I ride it 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes in the afternoon. Everything she did in 1 hour, I used 3 to 4 hours doing. And because of that, because of my zeal, because of my drive, and sometimes it's almost insane, my drive, within 6 weeks, my level of recovery, those who did with me didn't get to that level until 12 months. It was a lot of pain, but within 6 weeks, my second surgery, a grandson of mine did his 10th birthday. And I dressed and I attended the party. Wow. I was still in pain. 6 weeks, I attended the party. The first leg, I had done that surgery 5 months. The average person with Nigerian with knee replacement surgery cannot. She's still staying at home. Asking for food and whatnot. I was running my home. Even at that time, I didn't have a maid. Wow. I was cooking, I was serving, I was doing everything in pain, but I did it. It wasn't pain that would kill you. It's pain that, then you use Voltaren retard to rub it later. Most people are soft. I have a driven personality. I'm an achiever. Anything I set out to do, I do. So that's why I'm able to do all these insane things that I'm doing at my age.
Do you also, quickly, do you think that your being the only child also contributed to this level of resilience, saying that there was nobody else, it was just you alone and you had no choice but
But it's only like for brief moments. I was like an only child, like during school terms with my grandmother. Immediately we took holidays. I spent all my holidays with my cousins. I grew up, it was at the age of about 11, 12 when my mother came back that I consciously knew that my cousins were not my siblings. Until their mother died, I called their mother mommy because they were calling their mother mommy, my mother's only sister. And they were calling my mother auntie. And it was auntie I called my mother. So mommy was the one that was my auntie and my grandmother. So I grew up with my cousins, but I think I just had a different personality. It had nothing to do with whether I'm an only child or not. No, I was just born with that in my DNA.
That's fascinating. That's interesting. Because when it comes to how we show up, not just within the social media space, even, amongst ourselves outside the social media space, there's this conflict between our actual image, that is who we are, and how we project ourselves to be just to be accepted. The social media space and even within corporate environment, between our friends, sometimes we find it hard showing up as who we are because we're scared of being accepted, we're scared of being loved. But you've remained consistent, Grandma, in how you show up. And some of your ideas are revolutionary. They are quite different. Your mindset, the way you live your life is quite different. How have you managed to embrace who you are at your very core without the need for validation, external validation, without the need for acceptance and, being loved?
Again, I will say it has to do with my DNA because most people are people pleasers. They put others. I say it's not nice to say it that the initial to describe me is IBO, I before others. It isn't that I'm selfish, but I don't see why I should inconvenience myself to please a third party. And amongst friends, our friends, if there is like a misunderstanding and you want somebody to be an arbitrator, my friends and relations would rather come to me to be the judge because I call a spade a spade. I don't care whose ox is God. And when A has a problem and is narrating it to the two of us, and then you are what you don't want to hurt our feelings. I keep telling my husband that I don't know why. What is the problem with these people that they can't just say, "Look, you man, you are a bloody ass. Why are you doing this or doing that? Why are they so scared?" He said, even him wonders how I get away with the things I say and I do. Because when you are known for who you are, people accept you as you are. You don't, it's when you now start being diplomatic, when you are not a politician wanting people's vote. Why do you want to be loved? No matter what, there is always this divide. There are two sides to a story. Everyone cannot like you. Everyone cannot like what you are wearing. And that's why I refuse to, and I tell people I don't give relationship advice or counseling. What works for me may not necessarily work for you. We are different. We're all cut out different. Your level, level threshold of what rubbish that you will tolerate, the next person cannot take it. So, in trying to please people, you end up not even pleasing everyone. You are also dissatisfied with yourself. So, I put myself unapologetically me, my secondary school friends, those I still have today, my older friends, and when I come and I say some of my revolutionary things, and they just say, "Oh, John, they just brush me off." They don't get angry. They say, "Oh, is it not Rosalind?" We understand. Like a good example, I don't like crowded parties. I don't see the need why we have to invite the whole world in Yoruba, Eru, for them to say, how was that party? Irokpo. That is the yardstick of measuring a successful party. I would rather have 50, 100 people whom I care for and who care for me. And the same, apart from my first daughter, that when she got married some 17 years ago, I was very involved in the marriage and inviting a lot of friends because she had lived abroad the last 17 years. She really didn't have too many friends here. So we, the parents, needed to get it working for her. And she wanted, and this big wedding, so I'm talking of 500. But the remaining ones, like when my last daughter got married, I invited only 5 friends. Because she was more matured. She was an established person. Her sisters were all established people. They on their own could bring their friends. So why do I want to fill the place with my friends or all sorts of chiefs, Oloye Maru, Oloye Meta, and all those? No, that's it. It's their thing. And a number of my friends were so, Rosalind, your daughter got married, you didn't invite her. I said, yes, I didn't. But why? I said, because I didn't want a crowd. And I don't want you to invite me to some uninteresting function that I don't want to attend. It's only you. I didn't, and when you invite me to, I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, I'm not well or I traveled. I don't enjoy these parties. I don't eat at parties. I barely drink. It's not fun to me. So why do I want to come and serve punishment? Take 2 hours in the traffic to come, another 2 hours to come back. And I'm grumbling throughout at the gathering. What for? And like I said in the Honest Bunch podcast, at the age of 70, feel free to call bullshit.
I remember that. That's quite interesting. Grandma, because you've lived a very distinctive life, and I would say that you are very, what's the word to use? very brave and you're very bold. You have a very bold personality. Can you remember if there's been any time people felt uncomfortable with you? People felt like you were too much. I see that apart from being a bright student in school, you also ventured into business and you did well compared to your male counterparts, right? Has there been any time that you can recall that people felt very uncomfortable, felt like you were too much, either women or maybe men? Can you recall, and how did you handle such situation?
I can't consciously remember any. And if I was in the presence of people who felt uncomfortable with me, that's their problem. It's not my problem. So it's not an issue. As long as that circle of people that I love, whose opinion counts to me, as long as they are cool with me, I'm good with it. All the others are just a lot of noise in the background that I'm not hearing them.
Okay, got that. Okay, so let's bring it home. Let's bring it home to social media, and all of that. I remember the Honest Bunch podcast, knowing that it's a controversial platform. I was a bit hesitant, but the reason why I wanted you to go for the interview was because I felt like such platforms needed people like you. You were going to serve as a breath of fresh air, no matter how controversial it was. And I'm so happy that, it happened. And then when the trailer video came out and I saw how they put stuff together to misrepresent your story, I felt so uncomfortable and so scared at that point. For me, I've said what I have said. I don't feel bad for saying what I've said, because I know sometimes you tell me, oh, for me, why are you not doing the same thing for your brand? And sometimes it's because of the fear of being castigated. It's because I feel, the backlash, because I feel like I also have a lot of my mindset is also a bit different from the average Nigerians, especially people between my age group. So I find it hard saying certain things in the public for fear of the backlash. How did you manage that situation from an emotional standpoint, right? And did it have any form of effect on you? And how were you able to still, just manage the whole stress that came with it and the misrepresentation of who you are as a person?
Yeah, when I saw it, of course, I'm educated and enlightened enough to know the word clickbait. And my first reaction was, wow, what a nasty clickbait. I mean, the snippets, a 2-hour podcast of which they now just cut the tapes and join the most salacious and unrelated portions to get a really terrible video that was just 1 minute, 60 seconds. So it was bad, I knew. But those who know me, like I remember my son-in-law when he read the full thing, and I said, oh, I hope you people, you're not carried away. I have a lot of children abroad, so some of their friends, that was another video that went viral. And they were posting to my children. And those who know me now said, but they got to the end of the video, which said, the podcast comes up on Monday at 6 p.m. And anyway, we know Grandma. Grandma will not come onto the public and start saying these things about Grandpa. It's not possible. We want to watch the full video first. So when they were tearing me to shreds, and disappointingly or surprisingly enough, if 10,000 people comments, vitriolic comments, 9,500 were men. And what I've come to discover is their hackles are raised on such issues that challenges their masculinity or whatever puny strength they think that they have. It's like they can't just stand a strong woman Then the podcast came out. Wow. Again, if there were 10,000 comments, and it was a lot more, 9,800 were positives, because now they now saw that the clickbait had nothing to do with the interview was rivetingly funny, it was humorous. I batted both for men and female. Oh, the men liked it, the things I said in their favor. And like I told you and told some of my friends, they said, oh, but a lot of my followers were angry on my behalf that they've just made this woman to be abused on the social media platform. This is not fair. They should not treat people like this and publish such things. And then the most notorious blogs that did not carry positive videos of me. When BBC talking about me exercising went viral, Linda Ikeji, for example, didn't post it. Other such blogs.
You have to call them out.
I have to. They didn't post it. But immediately that clickbait came out. They had a field day. It was on their own Instagram page. But when it is a feel-good, decent story, it didn't sell. And what disappointed me with a lot of people was that the end of the video says the full podcast is coming up. And you are not intelligent enough to wait to read it. And you are posting. Oh, they didn't come. When it now came and there were so many positive things about me, and elsewhere they will say, not be this woman when then they cursed the other day. Not be this woman. And everyone else was now picking up the good parts. All of these guys now tucked their tails between their legs and they just shut up and didn't say anything. But I give kudos to a lot of men who saw it, called their wives. A lot of couples watched that podcast together. Women called their husbands. And it went viral too because they liked what I was saying. I didn't say anything bad, but it was that clickbait, like coming attraction. You want to advertise a new movie coming, so you pick the most salient parts, you put together to catch the attention of people to now say, what I've seen, I think this will be a good movie. So it happens the world over. It is normal. You, like I now, I have a Teflon skin. Even AK-47, the bullet won't go through me. Verbal bullets and written bullets. So I, in particular, my husband here, we didn't care to would say, like I said, I don't care about public opinion. Those who matter to me know what it is about. And so my husband and I, we read to each other and have a field day laughing over some really silly comments. But it didn't have any emotional effect.
Yeah, that's quite fascinating, because I wouldn't lie. This is this is one of the critical aspects of personal branding, of having a brand on social media and having a good one, because you moving from 100 followers to 100,000 followers in 6 months, it's a big deal. You might not know. Yes, because there's so many people who started the way you started and growing on a very not so great pace. But for you to have gone at that pace, it means that you have done something distinct and different that I like to call contrarian branding, and which works very well within the marketing sphere. Right. So having said that, Grandma, I mean, you've been on social media for the past 6 months. I mean, you don't post and all of that, but I'm sure that you take notes, you've been observing, and all of that. Can you just give me your general opinion or view about the social media space and the media landscape in general? And if there's another opportunity like this again, would you have embraced it?
The whole social media landscape took me totally by surprise, because I had no idea what it was all about. And vaguely, I know my husband and I used to say, I don't understand people. They are eating abalumo. They pushed it on social media. They are eating this food. They are taking photographs. Everything they do. I don't understand why they do this. I least ever dreaming that one day I too would be there. And so I'm there, and I am not really into social media. I hardly look at, I don't even have, what is that thing you call it, notification that you have. Many times is one person or the other that calls me to say, oh, auntie, grandma, I'm just watching this, your video post. I said, oh, is that so? They posted something new on me. I have no notifications because I don't want any notification disturbing my phones. And once in a while, 2-3 times in the day, mostly at night when I can't sleep, I go to my page and I check and I replies. So I am not, and the same thing with my generation of people. I don't think any of my husband's friends, his own age group, those ones are knocking 80s. There's none of them on Instagram. My friends, my generation, if I have 103,000 followers, I think I have only 5 people, friends and people in my generation that I know that are following me. So this is not a platform we are comfortable with. I'm not used to it. And even how to follow somebody else, if you remember, it was Aisha that wrote a list of some people I think she gave to you to say, put that she's following them. Silly list, because my 9-year-old grandson and 12-year-old grandchildren, we are amongst those people. But what surprises me about the social media platform is it is so, what is the English word to use? When absorbed, it takes up the life of people. I have 1 or 2 young friends, a pet of mine. When she's here, she's in Abuja, like when she's here, her phone is pinging. She's checking. She's forever on her phone, and it's social media. I am on my phone too. There was a plane crash in Washington yesterday at 2 p.m. 64 people. I know all the details. Those bodies that have been rescued, following the hostages that have been released today in Israel, knowing what is going on around the world in Nigeria, being abreast of, for me to know. But these people live their life on social media. They don't read the newspaper. They take their news from what ABC is saying. And it baffles me. The more abrasive you are, the more into your face you are, the more dramatic the things you do.
Yeah, unfortunately. Unfortunately, that's how the social media space works.
That's how I have seen it.
Yes.
I may be wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
you're not so
that's
wrong.
my opinion.
Yeah, you're not so wrong. Negativity tends to thrive, and I think it has to do with the human psychology and the fact that people are drawn towards such news and such stories, scandals, and all of that. I think it has something to do with the human psychology. But again, another good side to social media is when we have people like you, to be honest. And I always say it, as much as social media is negative, you still have the power to determine what you want your feeds to look like and your timeline to look like, which is very much dependent on the kind of people that you're following, right? I have a very decent timeline, if not even because of the work that I do. I'm in the media landscape. There's so many pages that I wouldn't be following, so, and that's why it's great that we have people like you who are using social media to tell better stories, using social media to inspire people, using social media to, change mindsets, which is pretty much what you're doing. And we have a few other people like you doing that, and that's very, very encouraging. Moving on from that, I know that over time, seeing our content strategy from Savvy Media and how, you're able to, do all of these things, the dancing, the TikTok, and then the random talks, here and there. I know that you're beginning to get a hang of, content marketing within the social media space. I want you to also give us just maybe a general idea on how you view content marketing, content strategy, and how it impact on your numbers.
6 months ago, even less, I had never heard the word content creators. I didn't know it's a career. I don't know what they do. And the first 2 months, I was like a clay in your hand. If you tell me, sit on the toilet bowl, let's take your photograph while you are pooing and we post it. I said, they want to see me poo. They're slowly along the line. And in my case, I think it's been a lot of, virtually all my posts have been easy for me. It may not be easy for the next client, but for me, because half of my videos, my posts are on me working out, and working out comes natural to me the last 2.5 years. At home here, my husband and I work out 3 times a week. So all those are run-of-the-mill, normal things for me. And accidentally, from my talks too, you got to know that I like cooking as a hobby. And so you got me, it was reluctantly. So now that I am thinking, I'll do some cooking videos because you've persuaded me to, I would never have thought of doing cooking videos. The cooking videos too are not difficult for me because it's not alien to me, because being in the kitchen and cooking is that's my office. It's my natural habitat to be in the kitchen and cooking. But one thing for those listening and my followers who, if they see this video, is I elect not to cook Nigerian food, but Nigerian cuisine really is my specialty. I went to learn how to cook all the others, continental and all. But because I love cooking, I also, over the years, YouTube, I look at cooking videos and I read comments and I have my opinion too. And I'm talking of Nigerian meals. And I said to myself, no, I'm not going to put myself out there for half of the insults that I see on comments. We come from different parts of Nigeria where we are cooking the same soup, but different methods. The way the Shekiris and the Urhobos cook banga soup is a world of difference to how the Efiks cook it. And then I cook banga soup the way I know how we cook banga soup. The Efik commentator is there, say, rubbish. I need to take Imodium from stomach running after eating this nonsense I just saw being cooked. Because some of the comments can be rude. You don't take into consideration that different strokes for different folks. Even as simple as jollof rice, the way 95% of Nigerians cook jollof rice, I don't cook jollof rice that way. I can never cook and can never eat jollof rice that has curry. In fact, I find it but adding curry to jollof rice in Nigeria is a standard here. Curry, my house is filled with all curry spices. Like I said, I learned cooking curry, garam masala, and all the rest. There is spice on their own for curry cooked meals. In my opinion, which is different from the next person cooking with it, I don't even want to feel the taste of curry in my jollof rice. My cooking, Nigerian cooking, I'm an onion person. I like to use a lot of onions. This part of the world, they like to use a lot of tomatoes. They like their stew to be red, post office red. I don't care about it being red. I don't like tomatoes. I will cook with tomatoes, but not too much. My onions will be more. It is not the redness that means more, that matters to me so much as the taste. When there is too much tomatoes, the soup is too sweet. And people say, is that not what soup is supposed to be sweet? I say, yeah, when you take a cup of tea, it's supposed to be sweet. When you put 2 or 3 cubes of sugar. But when you put 7 cubes of sugar, it is too sweet. It is syrupy sweet. And so I eat this rice and stew. It's so sweet that I don't like the sweetness. It's like taking a cup of tea. So now, because you like your food that way, and I'm cooking it this way, and it is something you cook, you are busy criticizing. And they're all fighting themselves. Did she cook the soup for you? You cook those comments. You cook your own the way you like cooking it. Her husband likes it this way, the other one with it. I don't want to go through all that. So I elected to cook those meals that over sabi people will not come and criticize. So for me, the only extra thing in your content, I wouldn't have thought ever of doing, but I find out that somehow it flows with me. It's what you are doing now, interviewing me. Those are the only different things in content creation that I've seen. So for me, I'm comfortable with it.
People usually have this idea that they have to do stuff at a very young age. I mean, they have to make an impact. Yes, that's the right word. There's often this pressure that comes with being doing something impactful in your 30s, in your 20s, in your 40s, and people just put themselves under a lot of pressure as to making a mark at that young age, especially within the online space, because these days everything happens online. And then this is you in your 70s making an impact, making a mark. A lot of young people don't even have up to 100,000 followers, I must say, within the online space, but this is you killing it. In retrospect, do you think that if you had that opportunity at a younger age to tell your story within the online space, do you think that you would have made as much impact as you're making right now?
I don't think so. For starters, there was no social media in my younger years. Those things didn't exist. Social media is a concept, it's a thing that is very new. Twitter, Snapchat, and all the rest. It's so new, that is why I said there is hardly anyone in our generation that, those in my generation who are there at all, they are in Facebook. So it wouldn't have been. And now that I'm there, I guess the only reason, because people ask me, they talk about brand, I don't understand brand, how is it developing my brand or no brand? And I said, I don't know anything about brand. I didn't come onto social media to get a brand or make a brand. The brand is the one making me. I said, because I was just sitting quietly in my house minding my business when the media found me, discovered me, and it is the media that has blown me up, has built me up, rather than me building up my brand. I said it's the other way around. What people are looking for are the things that are happening to me, and I don't understand why. And I keep asking a lot of my followers, many of them, I try to respond to as many comments, and I tell them, I genuinely thank them. I said, thank you very much for following me, because between you and I don't understand why you are following me. I'm an old, boring woman. I said, so I'm still puzzled. What are you looking for in my page? I don't understand. So, I guess if I was doing something revolutionary when I was younger and the social media platform was there, I guess with such things, again, it would still have been successful. In my case, I ran a business that was male-dominated, and I handled it quite successfully when I was doing my photographic business. And even now, what I'm doing, people ask me, why do you think you are, why is your story so much more successful, even more than young people who come out wanting to make an impact?
Yeah.
And I said, I think the only reason amongst young, all categories of people, young, old, middle-aged, male, female, is because I'm a maverick in my field. I am different. Like you earlier said, I'm doing what the average African woman does not do. I'm lifting weights at 71. I am boxing at 72. I'm doing martial arts at 73. I live alone in a big house with my husband. I do all my housework, all my cleaning. I don't keep a maid. I do all the things that old women in my age don't do. Yeah. And I think the icing on the cake, because many people commented on it, was when the BBC video came out, and then they now said, not only is she an old woman, she's an old woman wearing modern gym outfits. So there they were examining, because a lot of videos showed of me, some 7-8 videos, and what I was wearing, and my headbands, and my matching gloves, and my matching sneakers. And they said, Omo, this mama not grill. She too she's wearing fashionable gym outfits. So the combination of everything all made it different. So if it's a younger me and a younger period, and me or anyone else who has something different to sell, will make an impact.
I love that. I love that, Grandma. And that's just what it is. That's all. That's what personal branding is. You be what I mean. Like there's a saying that our similarities are usually not celebrated. It's our differences. What makes you unique and what makes you different. That's what is usually celebrated. And so I love that. And one thing that I take out from this is the fact that age is not a barrier to making impact. You can make impact at any time of your life. And I think what makes yours more interesting is because at an older age, you have seen everything it is to life. You're more well-grounded, and like you said, when you pass your 70s, you're not trying to please anybody. So you're more grounded. You have accepted yourself for who you are. So that conflict between, this is who I am and this is how I want to show up, has been resolved already. And that makes your brand very authentic. And authenticity, again, is a bedrock of personal branding. Interesting, Grandma. So quickly, please tell us, what is that one thing that you think that people do not know about you, especially your online friends? We'd like to know.
The one thing everyone, not my online friend, know about me is throughout my life, my years, I never, ever spoke in public.
Wow.
I was one of the smartest in my class. I never answered a question throughout my years in school. I don't ask questions in the class.
All of these great ideas to yourself.
And I only answer a question if I am directly asked. And even as a parent attending PTA association, even in the estate end of month meetings and the rest, I never speak up. I never ask questions. Although, like in class in those days, much as I don't talk openly, but it's not because I am a quiet person. I'm not a quiet person. I'm a talkative. But I talk only in the group of people that I like. So when I like you, a small group of 5, 6, 4 people, then I'm the heart of it all. I'm a good raconteur. I tell my stories, description, and you roll with laughter. But you tell me like to go on stage and talk, I don't talk. I never proposed the toast. I never gave a speech at my friend's 40th birthday or 50th birthday. And when they called me, I said, okay, so let the celebrant best friend come and put in a few words about the celebrant. You go wait till night. I will not leave my seat to make any.
Wow, that's interesting.
And, yes, I never. And my family know that, my husband, my children, and they always say, Mommy, but why do you think you can't talk? I said, I don't know. I won't use the word stage fright, because I'm not on a stage and then I'm frozen. But humorous as I am, and my powerful descriptive powers that will make you laugh, it all freezes when I now have to address a big audience. And then suddenly I'm thrust into the limelight with this social media thing. I'm being interviewed. I'm going to the thing Tiwa or Nosanya did at Imperial. I'm made to talk. I am the television houses, the media wants me for interviews. And it was like a key opened a door. And then I talk, and even when I'm being interviewed with my husband who used to do all the talking on our behalf before, I watched the videos and I said, in
you're
PG,
doing more
Talib, I
talking.
the talk when I talk better pass your own. Yours is so stilted and uninteresting. And he said, Abio, who will believe?
Who would have thought?
So it's like you have a child who didn't learn how to work early. At 1 year, 2 years, even 3 years, you are beginning to wonder, is this child going to be a cripple? And suddenly, this child becomes an Usain Bolt. In the last 6 months, I've done all the talking I didn't do for 72, 73 years.
Wow.
I never spoke.
Wow.
I instigate people a lot. I was always mischievous. So at PTA, in the class, because I would sit at the back, make una protect, ask this question. I will ask the Mugus who are sitting next to me to do the things. I won't do it also. They get into trouble. Or PTA meeting, and we are protesting. Why should our children not be allowed to come to school with provisions? Why? They must come. I won't stand to protest, but those parents, we could ask them why they say make we not bring provisions on our children. We ask them.
My goodness.
And they too will raise their hands up and then be asking questions. But I never spoke in public.
Wow.
Never, ever.
Wow.
Until now. What I'm doing with you one-on-one, I won't do it a year ago.
Wow, that's fascinating. Who would have thought? Wow, amazing. So it just means that self-discovery is a long-term journey. It doesn't end. You keep discovering yourself every now and then. Interesting. Okay, so finally, Grandma, what do you think is left? I mean, what are the next plans, for you? Please don't tell us about you're quitting, because your online space, your online friends are not willing to hear that. So what's next for Grandma? What should we expect for Grandma?
Yes, I've been asked that repeatedly, and I disappoint people by saying nothing. Nothing in the sense that, as you know, I didn't come out wanting this. Whatever this is, brand and all the rest, came and took me out of my comfort zone. And people now say, fame or no fame, what difference has it made to your life? I said, no, not the slightest difference, because no one sees me. I don't go out, I don't mix, I don't go anywhere. And even when I go to the gym, I am still, a lot of these gym people know me. That's where I've been going to before. And I always just go and focus and do what I want to do. For me, the gym was never a social gathering. So I just do my thing and then I go away. And nothing whatsoever has changed for me. I still do my humongous household chores. I'm waiting now to go and cook for my husband.
Right.
This morning, before you came, I did a lot of cleaning, brushing the floor, mopping, dusting, doing everything. And then today is my free day. I would rest and read my book. And usually from 7 to 10, 11, we play Scrabble almost every night. So it's the same old things that we are doing. I'm also asked, so something about inspiring the next generation. What are your plans? What do you think? And I said, I'm not even inspiring my generation, let alone the next generation. Grandma. I said, this may not sound too good. I said, but I'm not a do-gooder in the sense that people have suggested on my page that Why don't you organize, seniors, people around you, they come here, they walk out. I said, because they are not interested, they won't want to come. I said, and I'm not caught out. I didn't, and I don't take inspiration from what other people are doing. I know my shortcomings. I know what is wrong with me. I know my health issues. So I go out to find solutions to what I need to do. So even if you are doing the most brilliant thing on earth, if it's not my cup of tea, I won't be influenced. I'm not interested. So there are people who are really do good as they want to develop the community. They want to talk. They give inspirational talks. They give motivational talks. I'm not that type. It's nothing to be proud of, but I am not that type. I just want to sit in my house, play Scrabble, cook my obe, clean leave the space around me, and just focus on my fitness. So that's why I keep saying, I don't have a brand to sell. It's the brand now selling me, making me to say, you may say you don't have a brand to sell, but don't, you must have this brand to sell.
Interesting.
So I don't have any plans for the future.
Okay.
None.
Fingers crossed, we're here watching, sticking to Rosalind and Uma. I must say it's been a very insightful conversation, and for me, and I'm sure that everyone who has watched must have picked one or two things, especially around personal branding, because I say it every time that personal branding is not just about showing up on social media space. It's about being a well-rounded individual. It's about being grounded. It's about knowing yourself. It's about doing the self-introspection needed to know yourself. It's about embracing who you are and not being scared of showing up as who you are, and just being authentic about, how you live your life. Thank you so much, Grandma, for your time. Really appreciate that. And I'm sure you must have enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.